Hi, and welcome to Making Waves on Purpose. Today I'm joined by Mandar Apte. Mandar is a really interesting person and talks a lot about peace. I came into the corporate social responsibility space through the United Nations. I got my master's at the University for Peace in Costa Rica and then went on to the United Nations Global Compact. And peace is not a concept you hear a lot about in companies or people talking about it even more broadly in day-to-day conversation, but Mandar does with fluency, and it's a critically important topic because peace is really about managing conflict. And we have so much conflict in the world today that I think the concept and the tools and techniques that he describes are super important and really important conversation. So without further ado, I bring you Mandar Apte. Mandar, thanks for joining us so much.
Oh, Jeff, it's so nice to reconnect after many years since meeting at SIS.
Yeah, so great to be with you. So tell us, what are you up to these days?
So, Jeff, like many people, I'm also concerned about the planet, the environment, but more importantly, the role of leadership or lack thereof in various structures, not just business structures, but also civil society, law enforcement. So, since leaving Shell 6 years ago, I have started a consultancy on peace, which happens to be an often ignored sustainable development goal, number 16, that with your UP's background, you're familiar with. But many leaders look at sustainability only with that green carbon lens. And so, yes, it is important to clean the ocean, it is important to reduce carbon emissions. But at the same time, it is equally or even more important to have an inner climate change of leaders and organizations to take more responsibility, social responsibility, not just as philanthropic donations and charity. So that's the consultancy I run, where obviously we have to reimagine peace because it's not just the absence of war, but it may be an ability to solve conflicts in a peaceful manner.
Well, and nothing could be more important today given the polarization that's happened. When we were in the green room, we were talking about it within the US context, but you said you're seeing the same thing in India where you're living. I'm living in Argentina, hyperpolarized society. Brazil is hyperpolarized. My wife is Brazilian. Like, it is amazing how much this has spread and the world has kind of become further polarized and isolated in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely true. That was one of the pivotal moments that made me leave Shell in 2016 when that famous or infamous election happened in 2016. One of my Mexican American friends was racially abused at a gas station in Houston, where I used to live. So he was told to fill enough gas so he drives to the border. And so that was where I felt like it's no longer just on CNN or Fox News, it's come to my doorstep. And so that is where I made a conscious decision to look at my experience in corporate innovation and apply it to the world of how to build safe, peaceful, harmonious societies and organizations.
How are you seeing that? You said business needs to play a bigger role in peace. Describe that for me.
So we just saw through the COVID crisis, right, that an unseen enemy disrupted the entire world. Livelihoods got displaced, people lost their lives. So you can say that business also was hugely impacted. This happens with every violent situation. So whenever there is violence, I realized that it doesn't see your skin color, it doesn't see your bank balance, it doesn't look at what socio-political views you have. You are all sucked into it. And when it happens, we feel sorry about it, like, oh, it should not have happened. But we feel helpless, like, okay, what can I do when a mass shooting happens? I don't like it, but oh my God, what can I do about it? So that is where we feel helpless. And so that is where we have to realize that peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is our nature. And so that is where we have to actively promote peace, not take it for granted.
I wonder, Mandar, if part of what we're saying here is the reduction in that peace is at least at the individual level is the reduction in fear or the acceptance of fear and the management of fear, because we see so much of in the US these shootings. There's a couple different kinds, of course. Maybe that's reductionist, but one that's particularly troubling that we've seen is, the kid knocks on the wrong door and gets shot, or the kids are playing outside or wander onto the wrong property and get shot. That seems to me that the person on the inside of the house has been listening to a form of news, a form of opinion, a dialogue. They've gotten trapped in an echo chamber that has made them very afraid of their neighborhood, of the country they live in, the world that they live in. And to feel the need that the knock on the door, there, whatever, and then you shoot. Like that seems to me to be fear-based, whereas there's also another like grievance-based violence that's happening in the United States. But I wonder how we do that, how we manage people's fear, because it seems to me in the modern moment, we are demonizing each other so much. The other, whatever that other is no longer the adversary, they're the enemy.
Yeah, I mean, you're capturing the social pulse of not just the US, but the whole world. We are all going through this crisis of the other. And what we miss out is, like I said, eye for an eye cannot be an answer. So now we have to reimagine, like, how do we help people get over their negative emotions? Fear, anger, frustration, jealousy, blame, guilt. And most of these could be from childhood trauma, or it could be work life trauma, right? So that is where we have to learn how to heal our trauma. And we can't do it for each other. I have to do it for myself. So that opens up the space of, compassion. Like we are born with that human value of compassion, love, kindness, caring. It's part of every person's life when we all began, when we were children. Just look at the eyes of a baby. So that gives you hope that, okay, that's your nature. We have just forgotten how to reconnect with our nature every day. So just like we brush our teeth for dental hygiene, we don't really enjoy it, right? Do you really enjoy brushing your teeth every day? It's just become mechanical now. You just finish it. Why do you do it? Because you know that if I don't brush my teeth, I might have dental decay down the road. The same analogy is for mental hygiene also. What are we giving our children and our leaders who are at decision making levels? What are the toolkit that they are using for mental hygiene, raising their consciousness? Because decisions matter. Decisions of a police chief matter. Decisions of a CEO matter. The mayor matters. And so amidst the turbulence, that the polarization, the media, like all this bombardment, how are you protecting your space where decisions are made? I think that becomes a deeply concerning fact.
I think that's really powerful. And I know you're a practitioner and, in fact, teacher of meditation. I have taken up meditation. And my attraction to meditation was understanding, maybe control is the wrong word, but understanding and managing my inner voice. I'm 55. I don't know why it took me so long to realize my inner voice is not my best friend. It is a quite negative, self-defeating conversation that I have in my head that I've needed to learn to manage. And one of the things that's interesting about meditation that gets back to like brushing your teeth is this idea that things that are painful can almost become pleasurable you're sitting for long periods of time. It hurts your knees, your hips, whatever. But actually, if you relax into that and you start to accept that, it just becomes a state of being that is actually not all that unpleasurable once you get to an acceptance of it and an awareness of it. This all sounds too new age guru for most modern corporations. But I think there's something in here as to how can we help people heal their trauma, unlock their purpose, their broader sense of the world and their place in it through these programs of purpose. You talked earlier about the purpose wave in companies needs to be expanded and built upon. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, firstly, I think there is nothing new age about this. It's very ancient. We are all born with peace, inner peace. So, for example, when you get frustrated, angry, sad, do you enjoy those experiences? Do you say like, wow, man, today I got frustrated? No, we say what? We say time out, I need to be with myself. So that is a clue that, hey, peace is your nature, not frustration, not anger. We don't want to be in that state. We want to come back to our nature. So that is the essence of life, is how to be peaceful. That is why you go to the movies, you want to be peaceful. That is why you take your kids for a vacation, is you want to enjoy, you want to be happy. So now what happened at Shell is, yes, I was a meditation practitioner. I have never missed a single day for 20 years now. Not a single day of my 1 hour practice, yoga meditation practice. So 2012, my former boss at Shell, he asked me why I am teaching the returning veterans from the Iraq and Afghanistan war. And I said, I teach them because it gives me joy. Like, I'm helping somebody who has gone through post trauma stress, I'm helping them back in civilian life. So, my boss, my friend, philosopher guide at Shell, he said, meditation is the chocolate because innovation also requires a mindset. So, can you teach meditation at Shell? Design a learning program using meditation as the chocolate. Wrapper on the chocolate is innovation and creativity. So 10 years ago at Shell Oil worldwide, I taught 2,000 Shell colleagues meditation and yoga practice nicely wrapped into innovation learning program. So if we can do that at Shell Oil 10 years ago, everywhere it can be done. And this purpose wave that has come around the last 2 3 years, we need to also think about two things. One, the alignment of inner purpose and outer purpose. So that means we need to know a little bit more about ourselves. Who am I? Am I just the body? No, because if we were just the body, matter, we would not get tired. Like if you are a piece of wood, a table, you will not say, hey, I want to sleep now, I'm tired. So that means we are not just the body, we also have the spirit, consciousness that gets tired and that needs to relax. So that little bit you need to know about who am I and what is the purpose of my life. So inner purpose, you can call that as the inner purpose. Like a little bit self-study of who am I, where do I get triggered, what do I enjoy, like all these are inner quest. That needs to be aligned with the outer purpose, your actions, because that is what the world sees. And the second thing that is missing mostly in these purpose discussions is my view, having managed Shell's social innovation program, is that purpose is a journey, not a destination. So that means just like an innovation idea, it starts somewhere, you learn by doing, and you discover something new. So companies need to create structures that allow people in the organization to bring their idea at work, like skunk works, for example. But now you need to add that layer of solve a social problem. Violence and peace could be one of them, but not philanthropic donations. Can that make money for your company? I think that becomes the next leap for an enlightened organization, an enlightened CEO. Is can I find a sweet spot where the purpose of an employee, the sweet spot, is blended with making money for the entity they work for? And that is where we need to educate, because innovation is a very hard process. It's not easy, and that requires an enlightened organization, an enlightened CEO, an enlightened police chief also. Like I'm working with so many of them now, and these guys are brave, these guys are amazing. I salute the people in law enforcement, because a police officer, Jeff, a police officer is actually an innovation officer. They are innovating every day, because the problems that people come to them for can be all the way from, officer, I am lost, where is the McDonald's nearby? Right? Or it could be some complex problem. It could be my air conditioner is broken, I'm dying, 911, help. So these guys are heroes because they are innovating every moment.
I love what you said about the change of perspective. Police officer as innovation officer, this idea of meditation being the chocolate that's wrapped by innovation and creativity. I think that's a nice way of introducing those concepts into these organizations in a non-threatening, non-disruptive way that opens opportunity and opens conversation rather than closes it. This has been fabulous, Mandar. I know we're at 17 minutes. We're going to have you back and continue the conversation again.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you for all you do, and looking forward to collaborating with whoever is listening who wants to reimagine peace and profit.
There you go. I love that. I will add the link to your organization in the show notes as well, so people can contact you. Thanks so much, Mandar. Great to talk.